Hello, Squishies! I am Andrew, and welcome to another Squishy Shorts. This time we are looking at Tales of Monkey Island. The adventure game market is dead, they said. No one wants to play point-and-click adventure games, they said. Telltale Games didn't say that, and after two successful Sam & Max games, they were given the license by LucasArts to create a new Monkey Island game. Could it possibly live up to the legacy? Tales of Monkey Island is a point-and-click adventure game developed by Telltale Games and released in 2009 for PC, Mac, PlayStation 3, iOS, and Nintendo Wii. What is Tales of Monkey Island all about? Here's the official description. While explosively stripping the evil pirate LeChuck of his demonic mojo, Guybrush Threepwood inadvertently infects the entire Caribbean with the Archfiend's expelled voodoo, which threatens to transform buccaneers into unruly pirate monsters. Pursued by a notorious cutthroat pirate hunter and a creepy French physician who believes that Guybrush's eerily infected hand holds a secret to eternal life, Threepwood sails the seven seas in search of La Esponja Grande, a legendary sea sponge with unparalleled voodoo exfoliating abilities. But little does Guybrush know his quest is part of a larger, more sinister plot, and good and evil are not always as they seem. Tales of Monkey Island was the first game in the series not developed in-house by LucasArts. Telltale Games was formed by some former employees of LucasArts, including some that had worked on Monkey Island before. The development of Tales was led by Dave Grossman, who had worked on the first two games, and while he was unable to be fully involved, series creator Ron Gilbert was involved in the planning of the story. Also, unlike the previous games, but very much like other Telltale games, this was initially released episodically over a number of months. The Telltale game style that people came to know them for wouldn't become their permanent style until the first season of The Walking Dead in 2012. This was still early days for Telltale Games, whose games had been very much traditional point-and-click adventures, and this game brings back the mouse cursor and a visible inventory box. Being an episodic release, the story is a little more complicated this time as it's told in 5 parts, with each episode having its own story but also telling a much larger one, specifically regarding the pox that Guybrush unleashes. Each episode takes about 3 hours to complete. This is the only Monkey Island game that I've only played once, playing it at the time on the iPad. I was curious what my feelings would be replaying the start of this game for this review. Would I want to carry on and replay the full story again? And the short answer is very much yes. Knowing the game's primary roots being on the Wii, the movement on Guybrush on PC is frustrating as you have to hold the mouse button and sort of drag Guybrush around the environment. But outside of direct movement, everything else is interactable with the cursor, and you can open the inventory with the I button or mouse click, or from the right hand side of the screen. Unlike previous games, items can't be directly combined, but must be placed into 2 separate slots to be combined, which I wonder if there's a game engine limitation, because it does seem less intuitive than just clicking one item on another. The one thing I did find with the 3D engine and the moving camera is that sometimes I found that I wasn't always aware where things were in the world. If I didn't walk to the exact place the game wanted, I would miss an item. You can't control the camera directly, so environments need a little more exploring than other games in the series, but I have found myself wanting to go back and replay all 5 episodes again. And here we are with another new graphic style. Unlike the 4th game with its utilization of pre-rendered 3D backgrounds, here the world is fully rendered in 3D by the game engine, and it looks pretty good, and I think it still holds up well today. Unlike Escape from Monkey Island, there are resolution settings on PC if you really want to get the most out of it. The game was in development at the same time as the special edition of The Secret of Monkey Island, and the two were promoted in tandem. I'm not sure I'm fully in favour of the new look for Guybrush. It was developed to be an evolution of Guybrush from Monkey Island 3, but with visual links to the style from the special editions. I can't quite put my finger on exactly what feels wrong. I feel like Guybrush doesn't have kind eyes in this game. The game is a real return to form for the series, not only in terms of gameplay, but in terms of style, writing, and feeling much more like the original games. It feels of its universe and drops the real-world parody elements. The principal cast from the previous games also return, as does composer Michael Land. This would be the last game in the series to feature Earl Boen as LeChuck, who had fully retired by the time of the next game and sadly passed in January of 2023. Have you played Tales of Monkey Island? Did you enjoy it being episodic? Let us know what you think in the comments, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, it's been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye, Squishies!
Threepwood, so good of you to join us. Saves me the trouble of having to sink your ship.